Well, welcome back to Butch's Garage. Today, I'm going to do a quick little rundown on how to remove the rear axle shafts and rear differential on a 560 SL Mercedes. First off, this car is a piece of you know what. It was quit running. Guy parked it up in the mountains for years, so I've been slowly parting it out. It's just an old rundown car. So all I've done so far is I started I removed the exhaust, which I highly recommend. It's so much easier to work with without that there. It's really not that hard. You might need to cut the bolts off and redo them. I did this on my other 560 that I actually didn't just remove and throw away this stuff. Of course, you need to start removing the drive shaft bolts. I'll show you that a little later. It's when I get them back underneath there. The next step is I did remove this bolt here. I'll show you that. That's the main support that holds it to the frame, the rear subframe. So that's a 55 Torx, and then there's two bolts underneath. I'll show those in a second. That that hold it to the actual frame in the front. Those are 10 like hex Allens, and then they're 19s on the drive shaft. So I'm gonna just slowly start taking everything apart. I'll walk you through. I'll go underneath and do a quick underneath and show you the photos of what's going on underneath too, so you can see what I removed and where I'm at. And I can't imagine doing this without a lift because you've got to start holding stuff up, and crawling around like a monkey would be a little hard. But let me pop underneath and show you some other things that I've done on it. Okay, 1 second. All right, so I'm underneath. Here's the drive shaft. Just moved the bolts so far. Those are 19s, and then here are those 10s. Those 10 hex I was talking about holding on, that's what's holding on right now. I'm going to re-brace up the whole rear end here when I start removing the bolts hold axle seal in, the axle shafts I mean. I'm going to probably remove the training also, but that's maybe another video. It's not too bad after you get in here. It's just got to support it up and remove it, and getting those four, I think they're 14s, are a little tricky in the top, but you just got to have long extensions. So yeah, I'll just start going through it here. I'm going to start tearing it a little bit more, and then show you where I'm at on the side bolts, and then pop it out, and then I'll drain the fluid here in a second, because you got to drain the fluid to get the little clips that hold the shafts on the differential. So sounds complicated, it really isn't. The only thing that's a little different on these 560s, let me wheel around here. So on a 450, it's quite easy to remove these without having to drop it down as much. But on a 560, you have to drop it down, because see these bolts there, those two there. You got to break this case. Well, actually, you don't have to break the case on this. It does have the drain, but you got to drain out the fluid. But then you have to take the cover off to get to the clips that hold it on. So you got to do the same as a 450. But a 450, if I remember, I didn't have the drain plug. If it did, it didn't matter. You got to take this whole seal off anyway. So I'm going to take this whole back end off right now, drain out the fluid, and then take off the cover and get those clips off, and then we can hopefully just pop this out. I think also on these you do need the differential loose also, because it's so tight when you push it in, it doesn't go in enough to remove it. So what I remember last time is you got to have, if you have the differential removed, it gives it just that extra little room that then you can push that axle seal out from this area, and then it'll slide off from there. So again, sounds complicated. It really isn't. It's just a few steps. Again, I'm on a lift. It's a lot easier to show those. So let me start taking some stuff apart, and I'll show you update here in a minute. See you in a second. All right, so I just moved this. This is kind of the bolt. Just picture this is holding the axle shaft onto the actual rear hub. So you can see how it screws in there. And that just is a 13. Came out pretty easy. It was all rusted on, so I did have to use a big workbench. This is the part I want to talk about earlier. This is the 55 Torx that holds the whole support on the whole rear end, holds it on the back side of it. Got to be careful because this can strip, and be careful on that. I stripped it on my other 560. So that's why I'm keeping this one. It's going to be a little difficult to remove, but it looks like if I have to, I can plasma it off, or maybe weld another 55 Torx on there. So A little different on the 560s because they have that bolt there that holds it, but on the 450s they have other actual bolts that supports that mount it right to the subframe. So a little different design. I'm sure it's for a reason, but it just makes it a little more difficult because you have to kind of try to lower that whole housing to get to it. So let me try to break that seal. Those are 15s to remove the back case. I'll drain out the fluid too here, and then let's get those pins released. Be back a second. All right, update here. So you see it's kind of removed when I moved it around, moved those two 10s. It's pretty much moved. I got it held up by the jack here. Now it's gonna free move. I'll be able to push the differential a bit to push that seal off. I'll show you how to do it. It's pretty easy, it just pounds out, it kind of slides in. And then also there is a little sensor here you need to remove. I'm just gonna cut this because someone else can probably reuse it, use the one off their car. So I'm gonna cut that, it's kind of holding it on right now. It looks like a speed sensor of some sort or something. So let me spin around to the front here, show you where I'm at here, the back of it. So removing all the bolts. I probably should have drained it first, but see, it's already starting to seep. So as soon as that seal breaks, it'll gush out. And then I'll take this cap off and show you how to remove that little clip. And then you know, it's really not that heavy. I got it held up just by the jack just so it doesn't flop down. And I mean, it probably only weighs, I don't know, 70 pounds maybe, if that. But I better hurry up here, it's starting to leak oil. So let me get this cracked open and oil removed. I'll be back in a second. So next I'm gonna pound out the shaft. Pretty simple, got a tool like this. It's just something to stick in here and you're gonna just pound it out. Should pop out. And then go back around here. Then I'm gonna pull the clips off in here. The clips are just on the inside of those little rings there. And then that slide will just push in like an accordion a bit. And then you pull it out on that side because the clips hold it in. So quite simple, just kind of pain in the butt to do. So you know, if you're going to be doing it, you might as well pull off the whole differential, clean it, seal it, you know, get it look nice. Because every 560 I've seen, they're all leaking or dirty or need to be redone. So I'm going to clean this one up and sell it. So I'll show you after I get it pulled off. I'll try to pull these clips out too. They're a little tricky. You just got to kind of move it around a bit. You can see it. Okay, be back a second. Bye. Okay, so I got them off. I popped them off. What's nice is when you remove the differential, you can see how it slides, and then it's easier to just slide them off. I heard they're pretty much impossible to get off if you don't remove or loosen the differential, but I would highly, highly, highly recommend you unhook the differential and undo that little sensor there. I just cut it because this is a parts card and I'm selling it. I'm gonna take it completely off and just leave these on. It'll be easier to work on a workbench than in the car to get these clips off to get the axles removed. So now I can I'll get looking at that on the bench. But now you can see this one popped off pretty hard. These have never been changed out. I mean, you got to whack them pretty good. I really do like this tool I used here. It's like a cat's paw thing. It lets you pound it too, and then use a good hammer there, a good 5-pound maul, and then they pop out. But again, like I said, you can't really get those out unless you get the differential to move because they slide in and out. It's kind of a bad design. I heard the new ones slide in further, so you don't have to like remove the differential, but I would never see having to do this in the rest of your lifetime. So let me get it out, and then I'll pull the clips, and that should do it. So hopefully you guys learned something. It's a little bit of work, but you know, I don't know what they charge at the shop to do this. I bet it's probably a $1,000 job. So catch you in a bit when I get the differential on my bench. So you can see I'm just using a little mobile work table. I got an auction for like $2. So I can just slide it over right on that, and I'll be able to raise the car up and then slide it out and have it on the workbench. And I can remove those pins, remove that, clean it up. So this is kind of having the right tools. If you did this on your back, I guess you'd also just drop it, slop it on the ground, and do whatever. But this is how I do it. So I'll show you how I get it on the little works table, and then let's get those pins out here soon. All right, so I just want to show really quick here. these are some bushings I want to change out. This is a main rear subframe bushing. Change that out on every car. 350, 380, 450, 560. These are the bushings I want to change out. These hold on these hold the rear differential to the subframe, and then obviously this I want to change this out too. This is the main bushing. Remember I said that strips can strip, but mine came up pretty easy. I would probably put some pressure on it to relieve the stress, so you don't put when you remove it, all the weight isn't on it. And then you can change out anything else, clean everything up where you're near. You can see how they just kind of pops out of that, there. You don't have to remove the e-brake or the fuel pump or anything like that. I did cut that, but normally you just remove those. It looks like 4 little Allen heads, probably 6s to remove that little sensor. And then, then at least you're going to get this cleaned up. Or you're in here too if you want to change out your bump stops. They can go bad. I heard they're a little pain in the butt to find. But let me go to the, here's the, this is the sensor I told you about. Normally you can unscrew that. I just cut it because I don't really care. So we'll go in here. You can see the little clip here, right there. You see it? You just get your little pick and you can just grab onto it. I'm not going to do it with the camera on. And then the other one is a little harder to see, but it's right back there too. It's right in there. And all you have to do is basically turn the axle shafts. And then after it pulls that pin out, then these you can pry those out nice and easy. So there it is on my little workbench. Luckily I was able to slide this on the underneath the lift and just slid on it, and it was nice safe. If you had 2 people, this would be a lot easier, but by myself, you just got to use a few extra little tools. So let me get these clips out, and then we're pretty much done. So here's what the clips look like when you pull them out. They if you need a pretty good little, I just use this tool. You just kind of clip on there and pull pretty damn hard. And then when you pull it out, basically these just slide right out. Look, it's just like pretty simple. Just slide right out. They're not, oops, sorry about the fingers, but you can see. All right, so that's with the shaft out. That's with everything removed. So, you can replace these if you want to, if they're leaking. These look really good. These seals on the side. Obviously I'm going to power wash it, clean it up, sand it, grind it down a bit, have it look all nice and fancy. So this is what they look like. My nicer one, I'm going to do this too. Also, my driver, my wife's car, but it's worth it. I think I said it took about 4 hours total today to get this done, not counting the drive shaft, which maybe another half hour or so to get the drive shaft undone and clean up underneath a bit. So I would say 5 hours it took me to get this out, and another couple hours of cleaning and install. Looks pretty easy. I know getting these little clips on might be pretty fun. But I think if you just, I don't know, maybe heat them up or something, they go back in pretty easy. I've never put them in, but just, they are a little tricky to get out. But, if you just follow the rules, follow the steps, and don't give up, it's quite straightforward project. So I'll show you the finished project here in a couple days when I get this cleaned up and cap back on and show what it looks like. See you in a bit. Bye. All right, well, we're all said and done here. Got it cleaned up. I took a little bit of work. I had to scrub it with a brush, and then I had to power wash it, and then I spray paint it with a good coat of spray paint, and I sealed these up when I did it. And one thing I would recommend, if you are gonna fully rebuild this, I would probably take these off and put a new seal on this, and I'd probably redo this seal on this. This one's actually still good shape, but if you're going to take all this time to do it right. And then you're going to reseal. Obviously, you're going to reseal your whole cover. And then same on this side. Then you would also want to get, there's a bushing that goes right here. I'll show you. You probably want to replace that. Let me show you here. The bushing is right. And then these are the bushings that go, those bushings go right on these here. On the vehicle, I'll show you. Then you're going to want to change out this bushing. I think I already talked about this. Is the bushing that goes, the main support that goes right on this big part here. So there's a top bushing and then the bottom bushing. The top bushing just looks like the ones in the rear. And then, while I'm in here, let's show what else I do. If I did this job underneath here, I would also change out my sway bar bushings there right here. And also, I would change that bushing out there on the sway bar. You see it. I did a video on it, and it's actually quite easy to do right now since it's got everything out. And then here's where that rear bushings go to hold up the rear of the differential. And then obviously this is and then obviously you want to change out that. I would do that immediately, even if you don't do the rear differential. It's so important. It most times they're all flexed. Now while you're in here also, check our medium pump stops if you need it. And then obviously change out your what they call the flex disc or something like that part is. And then if you're here, you want to change these out too. These make quite a good difference on the body, especially when you go on corners and swing. Just heads up on those. They're a little bit of a pain in the butt to put in. There's a video they kind of press in, but what I found out on those is that the 560 ones are a little different than the 450 because the 450s are quite affordable and the 560s are quite a lot more money. So I did it on my 560. I bought some 450s, had to shave them down to get them to fit. So just think about that if you want to spend a bunch of time or just buy the right part. But you can always just and it's interesting how you press them in, use the body and just press right in. So that's all she wrote here. Pretty much done. Hopefully, you all learned something. It's it's a big project, but it really is worthwhile in the end, and you kind of have to do it. I've seen these all leak. Even mine with that has I think maybe 80,000 miles on it. It's all leaking all around. And then here's the axle shafts. I guess you can rebuild them, but most people just replace them. I mean, I would replace them. I would not rebuild it. You're doing something that's that old, and they aren't that expensive either. I think I saw them for $300-$400. I'm sure there's other maybe non-OEMs or something that can do it. So, all right, well, Butch's Garage is done. Hopefully you guys learned something and enjoyed. If you enjoyed, I do these occasionally. I'll be like and subscribe, and I will be doing the tranny next. I already got it kind of partially started, and they're really not that hard to do. So adios, goodbye. Bye.